Chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays offside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Ben Sells.
Hello and welcome to this latest episode of the Gull'S Eye View. I'm joined by Rachel and I'm joined by Clive. Usually remember midweek game, we obviously wait until after midweek game, but as we were just saying before we went on, it's kind of interesting times to be a Torquay fan. There's plenty to talk about and there's plenty of interesting points that a win or a different result on Wednesday could change. We'll go through the game. My overall picture of everything is that I was very impressed with the overall performance in terms of the courage and we just actually went for it. But we're eighth in the league now, and Hornchurch will take nothing away from them, as Clive will say. I enjoyed the game. I actually enjoyed the game a lot. But so I really am happy with that. And if we go, in my opinion, if we go on with that kind of courage as we did yesterday, I see us reaching our goal. However, that's looking quite a long way away at the moment, though. So we've got to start winning games. However, we'll go through the day. Rachel, Clive, thank you for joining me. Rachel, what are your kind of thoughts going into the Hornchurch game? What do you expect from them? And how would you sort of rate the first 20 minutes, half an hour? It's frantic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was all action, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was a lot of attacking football on display from both teams. I actually thought, certainly in the first 10 minutes, that Torquay looked really good. They were sort of peppering the ball about, and yeah, no, I was very excited and sort of off my seat a couple of times, but.
Yeah.
It sort of settled a little bit, and Hornchurch did start to impose themselves a little bit more, and there was a few hairy, dangerous-looking moments that we had to be sharp to and alert to. And then there was Callum Dolan showing what Callum Dolan can do. He sort of wriggled through into the box and got upended, and it was a penalty. And at that point, at that stage of the game, I was really confident. We had the wind in our sails, didn't we? The supporters and the team looked good, and he dispatched the penalty brilliantly. That's what you want, isn't it? Just with a lot of power, straight through the middle. Because we were having that conversation about, well, who's going to take it? We've got both Jordan Young and Louis Dennis on the pitch, but up stepped Callum Dolan, took the penalty really well. And at that point, it was sort of like aspirations and dreams of, well, if we get another one here, we're going to do this. We're going to burst their bubble, the Hornchurch unbeaten record. But then, what was it? 9 minutes later. I mean, there was in between that. There was some very, very entertaining football from both. It was pretty much. I guess it was a sort of end to end. And then I think it was. Was it their big number 9? That's Harry Hearn. Did he get sort of scythed down? Not that from where I was sat, I mean, it's difficult, but you're in the moment there, and I didn't think it looked all that, but and I haven't watched the highlights, so I can't really sort of come back on that one. But I personally thought it was a bit of a soft decision, but anyway, so there we go. It was almost like a carbon copy, really, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Very similar sort of position in the box. Player sort of makes a dart in and gets sort of. But I thought we got the ball. But anyway, he took the penalty, took it well, and that was it. Even Stevens, and then again, we were still pushing, still looked very much in the game. I thought, there were some good performances from, I thought, Callum Dolan, I thought looked very lively, but our shooting was way
Leaning
off,
back.
wasn't it? It
Leaning
was,
back.
and also, we had a couple of fouls, in good areas, set pieces, free kicks, and what have you, and didn't take advantage of them. They're usually reliable, Jordan Young, he sort of blasted a couple over the flipping bar, and Jordan Young, again, he had a very good chance, didn't he, at one stage? You know, it was a lovely move, put Jordan Young through, keeper to beat, and, you know,
That was a 1-0, wasn't it? That was quite a pivotal
oh,
moment in the
sorry,
game.
yes, yeah, that
Yeah,
was prior
yeah,
to the, yeah, that was between, sorry, yes, that was between
yeah.
our penalty and
That was a
and
big
theirs.
moment.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. Sorry, yeah, absolutely, Sam. And at that stage, it could have been, yeah, 2-0. And who's to say that that would have been, you know, sort of a real launch pad for us.
It was a good
There was a,
chance, wasn't it? It was on his right foot though.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it sort of,
he's done everything right and until
yeah,
he hit the ball. I was sort of more or less behind it watching from Bristow's, and he hit it, and I thought that's going in, but it like travelled
Yeah.
at 3 mile an hour, didn't it? He just didn't catch it at all, and it was
yeah,
a really easy save for the keeper. I think he's had a rough 7 days or so. I think, and he really youngy. I mean, most people thought he was extremely unlucky to get dropped last week. He comes on, he scores. I mean, you can't call it a consolation goal, but he scores an excellent free kick near the end at Dorking.
Yeah.
But yesterday, to be honest, he was involved in a lot of stuff, but none of it came off, did it? You know, he's hit a free kick into the wall. He's hit a free kick well over the bar. He even got taken off one at the end, which surprised me, to be honest, because it was right in sort of to the right of the penalty area. I thought it was absolutely in his kill zone, really. But Callum Dolan ended up taking that, and of course that went straight into the wall as well. We kind of, you said, Rach, really, the you know, the shooting was, it did leave a lot to be desired, really. There was a particularly bad one. I thought Matt Worthington should have done a lot better with one in the second half, where he kind of runs onto it, and he's only 18 yards out, and he puts his laces through it, but it goes well over the bar. I thought that was probably the best chance of the lot, if I'm honest.
I think I cursed it a little bit. Sonny Senior turned to me because obviously I said last week, and I still stand by it. I'd rather a player put into row Z and try something. Yeah, yeah. But after the 7th time that happened, Sonny Senior went, "Well, you did say," but no, it's still true. But I just think I had hoped that when you have 7 of them, at least 3 or 4 might hit the target a bit more.
Absolutely.
Professional footballers.
I don't know. I don't know
I
how
feel like we're leaning back.
far
We're
up the
snatching at
alphabet it goes actually in the family stand, but yeah, the upper reaches took a pepper in, didn't they, yesterday?
It did.
And the trouble was, to be honest about it as well, we didn't actually create that many gilt-edged chances, did we?
Yes.
You know,
The
we had
a
fair bit of possession second half. But we were reduced largely to shooting from range, and that's credit to Hornchurch, because I think, as Rachel said, I think they were by far the best team that's come to Plainmoor this year. I thought Balanta was different class, to be honest. Every time he got the ball, he had his head up, and he always did something good with it. He's quite physical. He's difficult to shake off the ball. I expect. I don't want to take all the highlights, Sam. So maybe you'll talk us through the second goal.
Oh God! First of all, I was taking a photo of a nice rainbow. Second of all, what happened? I just kind of like, so you know, in kind of zone out when you watch. I zone out a lot in my life, to be honest. But I was kind of zoned out. I'm like, I swear 2 players are falling over there. I'm like, that can't be good. And then it just curled it, and it didn't look like much power. But that was the difference in the finishing there. What they've done, they've just curled it gently into the corner. Hamilton hasn't probably seen it until late, and it's hard for him to get to. And that's the difference. You know, I just feel Hornchurch, I really respect them. There's a little bit, you know, in Mike Bassett, when it's like 3 cheers for the Mexicans. There's a little bit in like that in Talking Talk with you saying, well, Hornchurch really good. I'm like, yeah, no, I really agree. So kind of a bit like that. But I just kind of felt that they were like, if they play like that, they'll win the league. Like the team that finished above them will win the league. I've seen a few people say that, and I totally agree. I really respected. We need to learn from that, because what Hornchurch came to Plainmoor with was a plan of, we're just going to go for it. Like they weren't afraid to send numbers forward. This shows where we've gone wrong. You know, they're a really good team on par with us. You know, and you could argue maybe even slightly better at the moment. But like. I just kind of feel that the thing I really respect about Hornchurch, and the thing which is the end goal for any management of any team in general, get the best out of what you've got. Hornchurch have a good team, but they get the best out of what they have by being brave. You know, they're quite good defensively. Their keeper made a couple really good saves, actually. We should have worked him more. Um, but they were good at the back, and they're also really dangerous going forwards and unpredictable as well. This is the thing. My biggest problem, which is, I've said this quite a lot of times, actually, and I said it last season, in fairness, the amount of times it feels like, Young will put a great ball in, or Dolan would beat a man. It never goes to a Torquay player. It just never goes, and that's happened a long time now over the last like season and a bit. Like there's just not enough runs. Like you have like a Cody, they're just never quite on the same wavelength. Even when Cody Cook is playing, I don't walk away often from a Torquay game, apart from like Hemel away last year. We've gone, Carl, we gave Cody Cook 3 or 4 chances today. You know, I mean sometimes it can be both the thing, but I just feel, Young puts some great crosses in. It's never all you need to do really is get to the byline. You've got to play at the front, play on the penalty spot, play at the back post, and like it's going to go somewhere and move around the box. And you might have a player completely on the edge. It just feels a little bit like we put so much time into like the pass and getting into the final third, and then it's kind of like, oh, well, hope for the best when we get there. And I'm sure it isn't, but that's just how sometimes it just doesn't look like the defensive unit always looks pretty good. But like the attacking unit just never quite looks as fluid for me, and that you've got the players to do that. However, my big thing going forward, if Farnborough away is so pivotal in our season, could even move say Paul Watten's rain, I'm not too sure. I don't really want to go into that moment, but like, because if we turn up with the belief we showed yesterday, we are away from home, yes, but if we turn up, like you have this thing in football at times where you just have like not flukes, but just something will work. Like if we could have it where we put it in the box 3 times and it rebounds and we go 3-0 up in 20 minutes. Can we not clip that and say I predict that we're going to be 3-0 up at Farnborough in 30 minutes, 20 minutes? But does that make sense? If we go with that belief that I saw on Saturday, I truly believe we can turn the season back around. But if we go there and we go back into our shell, we end up drawing or losing. I don't know. The season's looking not gone, because obviously playoffs will then become the target. But you're seriously looking at, we already are, let's be honest, like in terms of the title, like we're going to have to go into unbelievable form now and hope Hornchurch and teams like that slip. But for me, it's all about just Torquay getting results now and getting us high up the league as we can. What do you reckon, Clive?
I think, well, with Wednesday, I think you haven't got a God-given right. It doesn't matter who you are. You haven't got a God-given right to win a football match because you're a bigger club than they are, or you've got more history than they have. And actually, you haven't got a God-given right if you've got better players, because what you've got to do is, I mean, this is a bit old school, isn't it? But you've probably got to win the right first. So probably the first 10 minutes is about getting established in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. By all means, go for it as best you can. We are, there's a few elephants in the room at the minute. One of them is the fact that we're reliant on a lad coming back from a bad injury to play centre forward for us. He's not started a game yet, Sonny Fish, and without him, without Cody, we don't have somebody doing that really pivotal job.
No.
If you're looking for omens as well, I've been at both the last 2 games at Farnborough. That's 180 minutes and no goals. So, like, the omens aren't particularly good, are they? But it's a huge game for us now. We've lost 3 in a row in the league, and that is a real worry, because we've been able to, the home form's been getting us out of jail a little bit, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But with the I think with the exception of Salisbury, and that wasn't a classic.
No.
Can you tell me a game when we've actually gone away and played well?
No.
It's very, very difficult, and the pressure's huge now. These 2 away games,
we put massive pressure on ourselves. Yesterday's defeat has not got us 8th place in the league. It's not got us 10 points with them having a game in hand, potentially 13 points and off the lead. It's that mentality and the lack of performances. I don't like using the word mentality, but it's just a lack of performances. It's a simple way. Away from home.
I'm going to use the C word, Sam, because
oh dear,
no, just the difference yesterday was confidence. It really.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Cody.
No, well, you can have that one as well. But I thought Hornchurch, they look like a team that haven't got any scar tissue this year.
No.
It's a a well trod statistic in it, but they're the only team in the top 6 tiers that haven't got beat yet this year. It's a phenomenal record, and they really look confident. And unfortunately, that isn't something you can just put into a football team. We've lost 3 on the trot, and we're struggling, and we all want to go to Farnborough and play them off the park. But if it has to be a case of one going in off Jordan Dyer's bicep, I'll probably take that if that's the only way of getting 3 points. But we have got, we've got to start winning on the road, and it's got to start soon.
I think on against Hornchurch, there were a couple of players I thought were trying too hard. And I'm talking about the attacking players. I thought Louis Dennis, he was trying to do too much. And as a consequence, it was falling flat. I thought Matt J was, he was doing his buzzing around thing. It's like that Talking Heads song, Psycho Killer, isn't it? You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. And you sometimes can try too hard. You know, they didn't gel very well on yesterday afternoon. I didn't think those two read one another. That there was, their movement didn't sort of complement each other. And I will say this, I did actually think when Sonny Fish came on, we suddenly did have that movement. We had.
I thought he looked all right. I think as a player there, definitely.
He was making space. He was trying to get behind the defence and finding the pockets, finding the space. And I actually was quite impressed with, you ask a young lad to come on with 20 minutes against the league leaders. And we've been, sort of like trying to breach their barricade with like 15, 20-yard shots every time we've had a chance to, and nobody was trying to actually take it that little bit further. And and then even when we had sort of like Dylan Morgan, sort of trying to get the balls into the box, and there was never anybody there. I thought when Sonny Fish came on, suddenly we had somebody in those areas that potentially could get his toe on them, could get his foot on them. There was one occasion when Morgan sort of pinged the ball over and it landed to Fish, and Dennis almost took the ball. Did you remember that moment? He almost took the ball off him, and I had my sort of my head in my forehead a little bit. So yeah, I'm sort of like quite confident that once he does get up to speed, once he does get up to full fitness, we have got a decent player there. But
my compliment to him is that from what I saw, I wouldn't say I looked at him and thought, bloody, that's a lost young striker up front. Does that make sense? Like you're like, oh, he knows what he knows what he's doing. But
he was
if he's fit enough starting,
calling for the ball, wasn't he? He was sort of like showing for the ball a few times. You could see he was very eager, and that there was probably times when a ball through to him would have been the best option, but it wasn't to be. And but no, and there was a lovely. He sort of won the ball, got to the byline, pinged the ball over, but there was a bit of a scramble. This was probably on about the 88th minute or something, and then it came to nothing. But yeah, I think we've got a decent player there.
Yeah, I think the main thing for me yesterday, the overriding thing I'd say, is that we obviously need wins and fast. We need a long run now. But it's almost like I'd say what went a bit wrong yesterday was we just kind of snatched at things. We're so eager to show maybe the instruction was like, right, lads, go and be freedom, Probably watched my 4-2-3-1 Football Manager and I play like that. But they're just like going a bit almost too eager then. And it's almost like, I don't know, maybe that it sounds stupid because we've obviously been taking shots in other games, but it's almost felt a little bit like they almost just haven't been used to that, and that's why they were just blaring them. I just think sometimes it's a bit. I have it with my Sunday League team actually. Just what happened to drilling things in corners? I think we try a bit too hard. We lean back a lot these days and try and go, but just drill them in corners and make them hard and low. Those are such difficult shots to save because you end up usually having to parry them a lot. But I think sometimes we go to like, lean back top corner, which of course, if you get it right, it's in. But I just drilled things along the ground more, especially when the pitches are starting to get more and more sort of wintry and that kind of stuff, skid it across, I just feel like something more annoying now. Like, great, we've done the first part, we've been optimistic, but now we need to show some quality. And this club has a lot of players that has that quality. So it says get people on the end of crosses more. Well, we've got like it's a Wednesday game, isn't it? Which we will be doing a quote watch along kind of thing. And we're going to try a bit of more of a radio phone in on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to that. Me, maybe Kelly and Don will be watching along, and then we're getting voice notes from Clive and Chris who'll be there, and even Rachel as well who'll be watching on Darzan as well. So I'm looking forward to that game. It's weird it's on a Wednesday though. But we've got what, 2 days of training, I reckon. Just honestly, spend the whole time just right, lads, attacking movement, attacking movement. When Youngie's on the ball, I want 3 options. You know, be hard to mark, and the set pieces. Oh, last year we were quite good at set pieces, and we're in this lovely era in football when set pieces are coming back at the top level, and it's nice long throws and stuff like that. Oh, they were painful, weren't they? We never looked like scoring one this season, let alone at the weekend. If it's a sackable offence if you can't beat the first man in football. But like the one at the end where like I don't want to dig out individuals, but like when like Hammond's come up and there's one that's a scuff by Young, and like we also always seem to overhit them and there's no one at the back post, maybe die on his own. It just seems like it's the way we've lost our way a bit this year. We just need to think of something a bit more outside the box again. But then
training ground stuff as well, Sam.
Yeah.
It's training ground stuff that.
Yeah.
Why is it that we're not implementing it on match day? You know.
Yeah.
It was very disappointing. The set pieces that you've highlighted. But yeah, is it the Guy Fawkes night, isn't it? So let's hope that Paul Watton can plot a few.
Thinking of a pun, aren't you?
Desperately trying to think of a Guy Fawkes
explosives.
Yeah.
Explosive set piece routines. Yeah.
A few fireworks up derrieres.
Yeah. There we are. I think it's quite well summed up. It's just frustrating though. It is totally frustrating. You know, I really like reading and listening to a lot of Torquay fans at the moment. There's so many opinions on it, all valid. You know, they're all valid, 100%. There are a lot of people who, of course, think it's the end of a time in Paul Watton's tenure. There's a lot of people that also think, you know, right, it needs to improve, but I still have faith in you running a sustainable football club at the end of the day. But it needs to improve. Whatever it is, it needs to improve. I'm in that second plot, obviously. But it does need to improve. Like the results just need to improve. You know, I have no thing that it's not that no one's not trying their best or anything. You know, I feel quite sad if I'm honest. Like quite sad at the end. You know, my team's lost and I really saw it. You know, it's a man who's trying everything. And it's just not quite working this season. But in my opinion, if we keep going the way we did at the weekend, it can really improve. And I thought the other one we were brilliant as well though.
He's a hugely likable man, Paul Watton. I mean, there's no escaping that. You know, we've all met him several times, and he talks so well about football, doesn't he?
Well, it's like Helen Chambers said, you know, the way he cares. The way she cares. He just.
And I you know, it's almost getting to a desperate stage where I really want him to pull this round, to sort this out, and get us back on track. You know, I don't think he got a huge amount wrong on Saturday. The only thing my criticism is he needed to bring those subs on a little bit earlier than the 72nd minute or whatever it was. I do think a change needed. I'd have said
the shape,
change the shape and then switch it around and bring he brought on Morgan and Fish, didn't he? You know, with a couple of minutes in between, and I do think that perhaps, who's to say that if it had been a 50 minutes and made the change, then we would have had a little bit more momentum. But the guy's, you know, he knows football. He's, you know, the fact that, you know, people have accused him of being a defensive coach, a defensive manager, but I mean, we weren't very defensive, were we, on Saturday? I mean, we showed that all the players that we've got, you can't quantify these guys wearing clogs every time they took a shot on goal, you know, because it looked like it, didn't it? You know, the standard of shooting, I mean, was poor, but the actual play was, I thought, very good. But yeah, I really, if we can just get a run of good results now, sort of the build up to Christmas, and just our fortunes need to change, and I really want Paul Watton to do that.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I mean, there's no Torquay fan that doesn't.
No, the pressure's on, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been lucky enough to spend a bit of time with Paul, and I really like him and I respect him. And this is probably a bit new for him, really, because he wouldn't have had these expectations at Truro, would he? A good season at Truro, given the absolute shambles that they were off the field until they got their new ground. A good season there was survival, and he did a really good job there. We went to see Torquay play Truro at Gloucester, didn't we? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
The travelling they had to do that season,
and how they bullied us on Boxing Day.
Yeah, the amount of fixtures that piled up for him because of all the call-offs at Taunton and God knows what. It was a really good feat of management that got him there and got him sort of in the Torquay job, really. Neil Warnock wouldn't have recommended him if he hadn't have thought that he was a good manager. So we all desperately hope that it's going to work. But I think for Torquay as a club now, do you remember that quote from Michael Westcott? It's probably back end of last season, I think. It was probably around about 12 months from them taking over, and he said the chemicals have worn off now. He said, the first flush of this romance, it's not quite that anymore, and we're getting that in spades now. We're back to business as usual now, and what we're back to is a lot of fans getting very upset when results aren't going our way, and there's no getting away from it. There's a substantial proportion of the fan base that want him gone, and it is a debate that probably needs to be had, and I would imagine it's probably going on beyond the boardroom door. Anyway, I think any club that's got realistic ambitions, the results this year haven't been what we wanted them to be. Is it too late to change it? I don't know. The next week, I do think. I hate sort of saying, jobs are on the line if you don't get results in the next two games. But if we don't get results in the next two games, that would be 5 without a win, and that would be 1 away win all season. So, it is time that we definitely need to see an improvement, and we need to see it quick.
Football's brutal, isn't it?
That's where we are.
It's so brutal.
For a manager, it's a results game. It's a results business. It's all the cliches, but it's true. And we're languishing in 8th position now. We're probably closer to like the lower end, aren't we, points wise, than we are 10 points off the league leaders, Hornchurch. So we're in November now. It's been
a really gutting season, this really, hasn't it, so far?
Well, I hate to say this, we're in the sacking season, aren't we? We're in the sacking season, and it's as old as the ills. A team has a setback in playoffs, and then it has a dip the next year,
and they miss the title.
And the manager's gone before Christmas, and it wouldn't be a surprise that would happen. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it's not necessary, but that's where we are now. This season is pretty much in the balance already. I know it's early. Somebody's said today, rightly, that there's still 30 odd games to go. Of course there are, but that gap between us and Hornchurch is enormous now. And the message from the board has consistently been, we've got to get out of this league, and I think we've got to get out of this league sooner rather than later. So, these are discussions that need to be had. And if I was in the shoes of the Bryn Consortium, I'd be wanting to know how it's going to change.
Yeah.
Because willing it and saying it's going to change ain't the same as having a plan to change it.
Mm.
Mm.
And also at the same point, if there was a personnel change, which I don't want yet personally, um, how is it going to change from their end? You know, how is another bloke going to come in and make this better the rest of the
Well,
season?
that's it. The dynamic. You know, bringing somebody else in, fresh ideas, but that's not an overnight solution, is it? So they've got to get to know the squad that they've got, and it's it's a conundrum, isn't it? That we're in at the
For
moment.
It's a
me,
massive
for me,
dilemma, I
Like a
would imagine.
crossroads. Yeah.
for
It's a
me, for
massive
me,
dilemma because none of this comes for free either.
no.
If you
Well, no.
decide that you want to make a managerial change, there's a cost to that. There's also a cost.
Southampton's just sat their
Manager,
manager.
yeah,
There's
who's
a
that?
managerial
Have
change.
they?
Southampton's a sat will still. Yeah,
So
Oh, that's
who's
interesting, isn't it?
who's the caretaker there?
I think it might be Paul Trollope,
Right. So what he'll step up, won't he? I'd
ex-Talking Man,
imagine.
probably. I have
Yeah.
links with Russell Martin going back there. Anyway, this is not a Southampton podcast, but carrying on. Yeah,
So
my. Oh,
I think that my concern at the moment would be, and it's probably not unique to Talk United, but what advice is the consortium getting about this?
yeah,
Because what we've got, obviously Neil Warnock is the font of 50 years of fantastic football knowledge and contacts and experience. But is Neil actually able to be objective here? Because it's him that's brought Paul to the club. And so what resource has the board got in, because they're not football people, they're great business people, and they've got hearts the size of cabbages, and we know that they want the club desperately to succeed. But if they're gonna, they'll be looking at this strategically, won't they? They'll be looking at it, and what the decision they're going to have to make is: do we stick or do we twist? But what are they basing that on? What is the football knowledge behind that? And if I could have one wish for the minute, I'd want them to be able to get some proper independent
Advice.
football advice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it may be that Neil is happy to do that. It may be that all the discussions are going on, and just in the event that they decide this far and no further with Paul, I just want that decision to be made, on
strategically.
with as much good
Impartially.
information as possible.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
Yeah.
My opinion, if I was the hired person, would be, and they need someone more football knowledge and experience than me, but like, is that my opinion would be that we probably had the conversations. We saw a difference in the play at the weekend. You know, he done amazing last season. It hasn't quite worked this season. Well, it hasn't worked this season really, how we wanted it. But my whole point is you get the most out of what you've got. I still believe Paul Warren can turn this around 100% this season. He's gone through so many highs and lows in his footballing career. You know, it's how it goes. But we need results fast. As Clive perfectly said, what are you going to do to change it? In my opinion, if we play like we did and we really go for it in the next 3 or 4 games, we see that the players just really will start winning games. Cool. If that doesn't happen, I also like to think about the 08-09 season. We spoke about the similarities because we would, if we were doing talkie talk then, I mean, I would have been 9 or 10. I don't think I'll be that good. But like if we were doing talkie talk then, and we had just lost 1-0 to Salisbury, and we had had 4 points from 5 games, I remember what we were all thinking at the time, and they would have had that conversation. Paul, are you going to turn this around? Kind of stuff. He earned that. He earned that.
Yeah.
And even if we get in 7th place on the final game of the season with a 2-0 win like we did against Burton, and then we end up scraping our way in the playoffs and we win promotion, I don't care. The whole goal of this season is to get out of this league. It's not really going to be the title at the moment. That's the whole point of this season now. If it's hard to explain, but if we make that change, it has to be for the money you're going to lose, I guess, which happens with management, compared to the money that you could then put into maybe getting another player in, another centre forward if you can find one. Is that worth it on the long run of the season? Where it's like, right, this is a bit disappointing, but okay, your whole judgment now is getting us out of this league. If you get to Christmas and you're 13th in the National League South and the season's all but over, you go, right, no, it's not happening, is it? But if we're still like here and there, 6th and 7th with about 10 games to go, it's like, right, if we don't get out of this league, we're going to call it a day at the end of the season. Does that make sense? Like, is the financial that was going to go into removing someone and rehiring someone really worth the big difference at the moment? Because I still think it's so easy
At
to
this
turn this
juncture
around.
of the season.
At this juncture of the season. If we don't win the next 2, 3, 4 games, right, you know, that's when you go, right, there's some serious. Or we go to Farnborough on Wednesday night and it's just abject and it's just nothing, you know, we lose 2-0 and then, you know, I get it. Does that make sense? I don't know if I've described that well enough, but that's how I see it right now.
My answer to all your questions there, Sam, is I don't know. And I don't know. Unfortunately,
Me neither.
I don't think any of us know. And, you know,
I wouldn't do it yet. I definitely would not do it yet.
That's what a board of directors has to.
That's a decision
but there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees in anything here. There's no guarantees. I would like Paul Watton to win his next 2 games, and for us to go, right, come on, we've turned the tide. It could be, you know, it could be the Stalingrad moment, couldn't it? Let's hope the day doesn't come where that decision needs to be made. But you know, we need to be realistic here. Football managers lose their jobs all the time, and people have been sacked for probably better starts to seasons.
Claudio Ranieri, but he had to go. Ranieri had to go. Won the Premier League title, Leicester, and he would have taken them down the next season. Big example.
You know, I detest most of what Chelsea Football Club stands for. Sorry to any Blues out there, but I don't like the club. I don't like the way it's run. But tell you what, they don't mess about with head coaches, do they? If they think it ain't working, they've been absolutely ruthless, and they've won European Cups doing it. So, but then you've got Crew Alexandra, where you've got, you know, Dario Gradi is there for 1 million years, running the best youth policy the third division's ever seen. You know, you've got Ipswich never used to sack man. I'm going back a long way now, but Ipswich never used to sack managers. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and I suppose ultimately I'm really pleased that I don't have to make the call, because it's really hard. And I think, you know, this is a time now where, you know, we need to try and trust the consortium, because they are calling the shots. We know for certain they've got the best interests of the club at heart, and I think we just have to wish them all the very best with seeing it through, really.
But in my personal opinion, definitely wouldn't do it now. But we'll be like, right, come on, this has to change a bit. What are we going to do? Cool, I believe in it. Try this.
Well, we've got 2 away games, haven't we now?
Yeah,
we've got
these
Farnborough,
2 games are huge. That's what I'd be saying. Yeah.
We lose both of those, heaven forbid, but a possibility.
Or maybe just a point. If we don't get 3 to 4 points for the next 2, then I'll be very worried.
You said about Southampton though, Nico Lawrence. That was a load.
What a player.
What a beautiful.
We're getting to that season now where we need some loans, don't we? It's because it's October, November now.
Could you imagine a Nico Lawrence centre forward? The quality that he was.
Yeah, no, I get you.
A
Kiefer Moore.
Oh,
yeah.
If
we're
only
in that season now.
With Cody out for however long. I mean, what is the?
But not a 19-year-old with no things, you know. That's the thing. I still think the answers are in the building. I still believe in the players we've got here.
Cody, the very rough guess for Cody was 6 weeks, and that was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
but we don't know when he's going to come back. And the only thing I'd say about loan signings is, absolutely, you keep your irons in the fire and you make the phone calls, you see what you can do. But you are asking somebody to drop down to National League South. Now, if they're a really good youth
prospect,
are they actually going to want to come and do that? I don't know. I just think
we're not League 2 anymore.
If you look at the evidence over the last couple of years, it's been a lot more it's been a lot more miss than hit, hasn't it? That's not to say you can't do it, you shouldn't do it, because, you know, we ain't going to go and spend £100,000 on the centre forward. So you probably are reliant on, you know, some nice development manager at a decent club taking pity on you. But there's no guarantees with loan signings. I hate to be so miserable this evening.
I agree with you. I agree.
There's no simple solution to it.
I mean, but the Sinclair Armstrong aside,
I was about to say, that's like,
he was.
It's been awful. Everything else,
yeah.
I think for me,
but we were National League then as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're National League stuff now, and I'm going to end something as well, end on a bit of a positive. I'm quite one of my favourite managers in my lifetime at Torquay United, Martin Ling. Torquay had just lost 5-0 to Gillingham and 4-1 at Southend. We were 19th in the league, looking pretty hopeless, right? And he turned around and said, the answers are in the building. And we were extremely close to even getting promoted to League One that year then. I still believe the answers are in the building. We just need to... We've let the shackles... I hate the shackles. But I'm quoting Damari Gray when he left Leicester. He quoted shackles off freedom and everyone was like, shut up. But like, it does feel a little bit like that the last... it's not something that's been shackles on them, just creativity, go and do it. But then we also need to start putting a point in the back of the net. I believe we've got the players to do that. I really believe we have the players to do that still. I really do. But also, I just want to see players need to step up a little bit as well. I think Farnborough will be one of the next two games away games are some of the biggest in a long time. I think it'll be the biggest this season. Every next game's big, but I just think this could be one we look back in like the pivotal moment, really, maybe in Paul Watton's reign and our season. We've got to go there and get 3 points, and there's nothing else.
Is it?
I've got to go and believe.
You won't remember this, Sam, because you're not old enough. But is this when Fergie took his Man United team to Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, and basically they'd been rubbish for a couple of years. They were mid-table.
Yeah,
it was the third round of the FA Cup, and Mark Robbins scored the winner for him, and it saved his job, and the rest was history.
Could be.
Everton had a similar thing with Howard Kendall. They went won a League Cup tie, I think, at Oxford. Is this the one? Farnborough, as we well remember, season before last, that was the last game of the old regime, although we never knew it there. So it's funny, isn't it? A fairly anonymous little club on our fixture list, but it's they seem to be sort of cropping up at important times for us, don't they?
And our friends, I've got good friends at their podcast as well, so
indeed,
it'd be an interesting one. I think it's going to be the turn-in. I think prediction. I would like to say 3-0 Torquay, but it's going to be 1-0. 1-0 Torquay. Paul Watton comes across, does a fist bump, so we then go and back it up on Saturday as well. And I think it's going to be the turning point. If we play with the bravery that we need to. If we don't, I tried to think. Clive, what was your prediction?
Oh, really? Shackles off 3-1. Come on.
For tomorrow, Gray. Right, Rachel.
Love to go clean sheet. I can't. That is why I'm hopeless at our predictions league, because I'm not a gambler. That's why
don't worry.
It's this whole never wanting to. Anyway, ramble. 2-1 Torquay United, and it's the 2-1 template, isn't it? But 2-1 Torquay United. How are we gonna set up though? How are we doing
4-2-3-1?
Are we doing the Louis Dennis, Matt J?
No, if Fish is ready, I would put. Ooh.
I was just gonna say, do we start Sonny Fish?
I like Matt J number 10. I would if he's ready.
You could play Fish, couldn't you, and then hook him if he pulls up.
Yeah, I think Dennis deserves to be starting, or Jay, but I would just rest one of them.
Best joke of the night.
On the bench.
Best joke of the night. Nobody laughed.
Fair enough.
Jesus.
Fair enough. I do like it, but I do think he overcomplicates things at times. I do think he does. But I would start Sonny Fish, put Matt Jane behind him, and then I'll put Youngie on the right, Dolan on the left, keep Lou Overton left centre mid, Wellington right centre mid. Make them a little bit more sort of similar. So Wellington's not deeper, just left and right. Yes, Lou Overton would be more the creative one, and Wellington's a bit more like the box-to-box creative sort of holding one. But have them two. Same back four if they're all fit. Hammond in goal. Just go same thing again, but bloody get on the end of your crosses and look more lively in the bloody box from set pieces. That'll be my thing. Same again. You've got it done.
Sam, have you just dropped Louis Dennis for Sonny Fish?
I'll give it a go. I'll change things. I'm a pragmatic manager. That's why my Shippy Wanderers are top of the league, mate.
Did you play today?
No, we did it next week. Sheldon Villa away next week. 7 points
Oh.
from 3 games. But what would you
I
do,
mean,
Clive and
you
Rachel?
say that, Clive, but he's brought, what really rates Sonny Fish. He's bought this guy and this young lad. So why not? And if it doesn't,
Sure,
like you
John
say,
does.
I
then
want to talk about Shippy Wanderers. It's a lot less
oh,
Yeah,
stressful, isn't it? Really.
yeah, yeah, I
oh, what
agree.
Sam's team?
Yeah, well, all I can say is new manager, new team,
What
7 points,
age?
three
What
games.
age is it?
My sort of, it's men's football, but a lot of the lads are like my sort of age. Everyone wants
So
to join, let me know. We
well,
train on a
you've not got a a centre forward that that has the potential
not at the
to
moment, no.
no.
I struggle to get 11, but the 11 I do get, Carl, we play some football. I could say left to right, side to side, get it
Have
in
you
a
got a
mixer.
rush back goalie?
No, none of that nonsense. Get it forward. I shouted at him the other day for playing at the back, and then
Is is Sunday football still? Do people still turn up drunk on a Sunday morning?
yeah,
Or is
yeah.
that a thing of the past?
My captain was hammered the other week, and
Didn't
he's
he
still my
get
best
player of the
player.
match?
Yeah, he's still
Didn't
my
he?
best
Yeah.
player. 3-2 down, second league game of the season, right? I'll change it to 4-4-2, and we win 4-3. So striker stand up front scored. It just happens, chaos. Football's not complicated, but for someone we can barely get a training together, it's going all right at the moment. Because I just go right, solid at the back, lads, and be free. Freedom for the best players.
Many years ago, I went. It was a Friday night. I was out with some friends, and we were at the Belfry in Birmingham.
Yeah,
And I glanced over and I saw this chap staggering around and leaning against the wall. And I thought I recognise him, and it was Paul McGrath. And he was the chap did have a drink problem, and it's that was unfortunate. But the following day, I was down at Villa Park. I did have a little bit of a hangover, and Paul McGrath was in the starting 11, and he played a blinder. Now he must have had a hangover, but so it just goes to show, doesn't it? And I'm not advocating alcohol, but you're saying that about your star man.
Take them out,
yeah.
Paul. Take them
But
out Tuesday night. Get them hammered.
That's it, yeah.
but seriously, we've done it as like a thing for it's escape. You can come to train as well and not necessarily playing the games. But it's just like an escape to get us all out doing things myself as well. I always wanted to be a football manager as well. So yeah, it's enjoyable. Any lads who want to play, it's 18 plus, come to training, we need the numbers. So yeah, and it's cool. And the big fixture next week, Sheldon Villa, we're getting 13-4 at home on the first game of the season. That is Swanee Ball. And we play them
Are
away.
you more existential than shouty? I can't imagine you
Oh yeah, I
getting.
do lose my head a bit,
Yeah.
but no, I'm very much a people manager. I let them do it, but on the line, I can lose my head a little bit when we didn't set up properly for a free kick. A water bottle did get thrown, and then but and when where's a goal wrongly disallowed because it's on the league they have the opposition doing a linesman, and there's a goal clear as mud on the side, and they disallowed it. I was fuming, and then he tried again, but the referee overturned him. So I stormed on the pitch and then celebrating, going, "Yeah, nice one, nice one." Bit embarrassing, really, isn't it? But yeah,
What
it
about the dark
happens.
arts, Sam? Do you practice them?
Time
Uh,
wasting.
we should have done. We tried that, and we forgot there's a play 6 second rule in there, so we can see it. We're 3-2 up the other week against our title rivals, and they keep holding it for too long. The ref didn't count, and then they got a corner. He bloody conceded from the corner. The bloody water bottle's gone again. We've drawn 3-3. So yeah, the dark arts aren't going great at the moment, but apart from that, it's all right. But I just prefer getting it into the box, a little bit. We've got the players. Anyway, you've enjoyed Chippy Wanderers talk. And anyone who wants to join or coach or anything like that, or be a linesman, bloody hell, because we run out of players. My players get injured, and I have lines. Oh, who would be a linesman?
They call them assistant referees these days, Sam. I don't know whether
Sorry.
you're aware.
No, I am.
Yeah.
I should know that. Sorry.
I ran the line for
Thanks.
my brother once. He played pub football in Portsmouth, and
Yeah.
I ran the line for him. And I would say the ball was about 4 foot over, and I didn't give the goal because I just cheated. And there you go. There's an exclusive.
Yeah, there we go. Well, it all comes back to
That
that's what
beats my
Torquay are now
that
8th
beats
in the National League
my
South. Thanks, Clive.
that beats my adding a leg at a Beetle drive, and still to this day feeling guilty about it because I won. So thanks for that, Clive.
Oh, it's all coming out in the end. There you go.
Anybody remember
Thanks,
Beetle
Watson.
Drive?
I didn't understand that story.
There used to be. It's a game, isn't it? It's called the Beetle Drive, and you throw a dice, and depending on what the number is, you can add legs to the beetle, and then you move tables and you start again. It was a thing. Maybe it's a Midlands thing, I don't know, but we played it. And when nobody was looking, I threw the dice, and I didn't get the number that you could add a leg, but I added a leg anyway, and it turns out I won. But I still, to this day, feel quite guilty about it. But anyway,
I just can't do it. Like people that restart their Football Manager games when they lose. No, if my game crashes and I'm like losing, I've lost my head. I can't come back. I have to try and recreate the defeat. You know, so
They say confession is good for the soul, don't they? We've got a lot off our chests tonight. Very good.
The last statement of this podcast has been good, isn't it? Right. Thanks for watching, everyone, this week. We'll be back later in the week for another episode, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.